Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the day 3 of Inktober Tangles 2022 challenge. We've been having a blast, and day 1 and day 2, if you missed the videos and the step outs and drawing on the mandala, hey, check below. Check in my YouTube channel, and the videos are there. So we are doing a tangle a day. We're on day 3, and this one, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it or where it came from, but it's ISEA-U, and Dory Peeters is the CZT is the creator, and I love this tangle. So stay tuned, get your materials together, and come draw with me. So what we do here that's a little bit different than some of the other wonderful videos on the different tangles a day, what I'm doing is I am doing the step out. I am teaching you how to create a step out and how to then file it, so that by the end of this challenge, you will have all the step outs on how to replicate these patterns. Because believe me, as you start learning a lot of new tangles all at once, and you start looking at your artwork and you wonder, what's the name of that tangle? How did I do it? Where's the link to the to that brochure and what have you? It's all going to be here on my YouTube channel, Zen and Creativity. So just a reminder, and if you want to know more about Inktober Tangles 2022, you can listen to my intro video. Since 2015, Stephanie Jennifer, a CZT certified Zentangle instructor from Singapore, she has produced these 31 tangles and pattern prompts that the Zentangle community follows. So I have a beginner's guide for you. And in that beginner's guide, I have everything you need to be able to do this challenge. The links to get back to my YouTube channel, the link to get to Stephanie Jennifer, an email prompt. And in that email, it has all the links in case you lost everything that you downloaded before because of the email. Oh, and don't forget, if you sign up, to check your spam, because a lot of emails are going into spam filter. I'm sending those emails to you, so check the spam filter and put my email on your whitelist so that you get those emails every day. By the end of the challenge, I'm leaving the links to each day, so you will have an email that has everything you need to be able to get to the Inktober Tangle 2022 and pick up whatever you didn't get, or if you want to start the challenge, in November, that's all up to you, because these tangles are wonderful. Now, in that beginner's guide, oh, and the link is in the description to get the beginner's guide and get those email prompts. You get, I created this step out guide, so an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You can print it out, 31 for each day, and draw along with me. Also, there is a mandala that has 31 spaces in it. And so part 2 of this video is drawing in this mandala, and I'll be showing you what is happening as we move day by day. It's getting really exciting to see how it's developing. So when you sign up, I just want to briefly remind you that you do get a beginner's guide. It has supply list suggestions. It has the links to Stephanie Jennifer's prompt. It has you get on the daily email list, you get links to the videos on YouTube, on my channel, and you also get an invitation to the Zoom show and tell at the end of this challenge. So we are going to start day 3. This tangle has so many possibilities, and I just really love it. And we're going to add this tangle with these embellishments on the mandala today after we go through the step out. So here is a quick glance of the step out. And what I want to tell you about step outs is that in Zentangle, they are the way to learn a pattern. Every time I learn a new pattern, I create a step out in my and put it in my files. So this is a 4x6 card, and I will be doing a short video here on my channel that will give you, I'll show you how I'm organizing with the file and a few other things that I do to keep my patterns together. Because if you're going to take this seriously, after learning, 10 or so patterns, you're going to really want to get organized so that you can be able to look up a pattern and know how to create it until you really know it by heart, which, is, there's a lot of patterns out there, so I don't know them all by heart. That's for sure. So let me just give you a little brief of what we've been doing here. Day 1, we did the step out for rain. And you can go to day 1 and get that video and do your step out. And then on day 2, yesterday, we did Del Y. Now, one thing about step outs that's really interesting in the Zentangle world is that Zentangle was created for the non-artist. I mean, there are artists, and we have amazing artists in Zentangle, but Zentangle has so many other benefits besides the method helps us to relax. It helps us to be creative, even if we are not artists. And so Rick and Maria, the founders of Zentangle, they say they addressed all the concerns that people had to them of why they weren't going to be able to learn. And they said, if you can draw or write ISEAU, you can learn these patterns. And what they did was that they developed the patterns using these I guess there's 5 elemental lines. So each of the patterns are comprised of one of these shapes. We have straight lines. We have S shapes. Oh, look at that. I forgot to put the S shapes in here. Well, I will do that for tomorrow, but I think you can imagine what an S shape looks like. C shapes, circles and orbs, and dots. So we are going to get started. Before I actually get started, I do want to talk about the pens that I use. So in the step out, I'm going to be using a Staedtler Pigment Liner 01, and I'm a little bit heavy-handed, and I find that Staedtler has, at least in their 01, the nib is a little bit stronger than the Sakura Micron. And so I've been using Staedtler. I also use the 01, but I tend to go to Staedtler because it flows easier for me. And I'll be using the Micron PN for the broader lines. And then in step outs, what we do is each pattern, when we add a new line, they typically use red. I wanted to use hot pink to be a little bit different. And for shading, I'll be using, I really like this Nero extra hard. It's an extra hard pencil lead. And again, I will be updating the supply list and giving you all the different supplies that I use. And this is a my blending stuff. So let's get started with the step out. In Zentangle, we have no more than 6 elemental lines to comprise a pattern, to keep it simple and not get too complicated. Because so you can design a pattern and it can have more than 6 and that can be complicated. But in order to be recognized by Zentangle as a Zentangle, I'm not quite sure if authorized is the right word, but they have certain stipulations that they do have to recognize tangles. So let's get started, and we're going to start with step 1. And in step 1, I'm going to grab my hot pink Statler Tri-Plus Fine Liner, and we are drawing ISEA-U. So if somebody has the way to pronounce that, maybe I'll have a chance to look at a couple of different videos and see, because I do want to do that correctly, and I'm not sure I have it. So we're going to start with, I'm going to use a half C shape, and then I'm going to come around the other way because I want it to have a little bit of a point. So what I do next in the step outs, well, first of all, I want to make sure that I put the name of the step out. And I'm left-handed, so I tend to turn my paper. I may turn it more than others. But in Zentangle, we do turn our papers so that it's very comfortable for our hand to keep it in a similar place, so that it can, where it draws its best lines. And if any of you are like me that have a little bit of a shoulder issue or something like that, it's really important to be able to find what's comfortable and turn your paper to where you can draw best. I think that's, so I like to write the name of the author of the pattern. Which is Dory Peeters CZT, Certified Zentangle Instructor. And by the way, if you're new to Zentangle and this is your first experience, and after the challenge you want to continue on, I have a really good solid 4-week beginner series that will definitely take your Zentangle to another level, and we go through a lot of the basics, or the foundational important. So I'm going to Trying to get that point there. Trying to get it to come together. There we go. Now, the first two step outs we did, they only had like 4 steps. This one, actually, we're going to be doing 6 steps. There we go. So we have all of them drawn in. Now, the next step is we come into the center and is to draw this. To me, it's like an eye. That's what I see. So we come to the center and we're going to make a C shape and another C shape. Then I like to do this. Then I come to the next pattern, and for the next 4, we're going to put the C shape in black because it's not a new step now. Okay, so we have all the center done. Now, let's go on to step 3. Let's get in the right box. And we're going to aura. Aura is like a parallel line. It's curved and it's going to mimic this center line here. And we're going to continue trying to be even all the way. Now we're going to curve it this way. There we go. That is step 3. We're going to go ahead. I like to get everything in the same step done for all of my 6. And one of the things I find out is that when I create a step out, I'm really learning the pattern. I'm learning a lot about the characteristic of the pattern. And by the end of drawing the step out, I know how to draw it. And I keep improving one line at a time. Taking my time, enjoying the process. Notice I move the paper to meet my hand, not my hand to meet the paper. And the final one. So now we want to move on to step 4. So we have this big blank spot in the middle of our orb and curved line pattern here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go the opposite direction and give it kind of a seed shape right in the center. And then we're going to echo, do an aura on each line. And notice how you start having some perspective, because we're really following the lines of the pattern. Now, somebody did ask me why we're not drawing 4 dots first when we do step outs. And I wanted to answer that question because a step out is not a finished tile, but when we typically are doing our tiles, we do in our process, we have 8-step process, which I teach in my beginners class, but I'm not teaching on these videos. We're just going over how to draw a pattern. But you see, I put my 4 dots and then I connect them and create a border. So, but this is not about a finished design. This is about step 1, step 2, and so on. So now what we have is we have completed step 4, and we're going to move back to step 5. I'm going to get my thin 01 because it's starting to get smaller, and you know, Lord knows. So now what we're going to do, oh, and I didn't put this step in here, so I need to do that. And I need to do it on the last one as well. Now, I bet you can guess what we're going to do for the last step for this pattern. I'm going to grab my, well, it's not the last step. It's the second to the last step. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm going to grab my pink. I'm going to turn my tile, and I'm going to make my seed shape here. Leaving a little hole in the middle because we have one more step. But I want to give this guy here that all right. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to take my pink pen, and I'm going, you guessed it, the opposite direction. There we go. And then we've got, so that is how, that's how we draw the step out for ISEAU. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can embellish and create designs with just this one pattern, and also including in other patterns. So one of the things that I'm doing on for my own art is that for each week I'm creating a piece on a tile that has, I have to use all 7 tangles from the week. And so this is week 1, and I'm working on this pattern, which I'm so amazed at how it is coming together. But we see day 1 with rain, and day 2 with del Y, and day 3 with ISEA-O. So that's one way in which you can, if you want to create something different, you don't want to fill in the mandala, maybe you want to go, that's another idea that you can use. So I'm going to now, let's get ready to do our drawing in the mandala. So here is day 3, ISEA-U mandala. And you can see day 1 is I've done rain. And I used a color pencil in the background, some gold ink, and that pen as well will be on my supply list. I love this gold pen. It's not too expensive and it just flows so wonderful every time. Day 2, Del White. And now day 3, I'm going to put the the pattern for today here. And let me get that set up on my table, and we will proceed to fill in day 3. Now I do this a little different as well. I want you to be able to tap into your own creativity and not necessarily be drawing exactly how I'm drawing. And, you learn the step out. I'm wondering if I need to turn it this way. Go. It's a little bit upside down, but we'll see how I can work with this. I may need to adjust it, but not used to demonstrating with such a, this is a 9x12 piece of Canson multimedia art paper. So I'm not always working that large, because in Zentangle we work on 3.5 inch and 2 inch and 4 inch, but I want this mandala to be larger than that. So I'm going to take my pen, and I'm going to fill in. I'm going to make 3 of these. So I'm going to draw it and put a little bit of embellishment, and then I'm going to let you go and discover what some of the other artists are doing. And if you get the download and you get Stephanie Jennifer's booklet, there's a Facebook group in there that you can join. And in that group, a lot of people are sharing their different tangles. You can also search in the Zentangle has an app. It's actually a free app to view, and you can download that as well. And also Inktober Tangles 2022 is the hashtag, and also the search in YouTube, and you will find a number of different places to share, where there's a number of different videos where you can watch different artists create different pieces of artwork. I haven't seen anybody else do step out. So if you want to really learn how to do the pattern, you want to come here each day and then go out and see what else everybody else is doing. That's how I would be doing my creative process. And frankly, I would have created it for myself. It was a need that I found. I get tired of going all over the internet, even looking at just having it all in one place seems really easier for me. Look at that. So this is kind of unplanned. I did have an idea of what I wanted to do in this, that I wanted to make 3 of them. I didn't plan that they all kind of connected there in the middle. But now what I want to do is I want to do step 3. And I'm going to put those lines in, and I want to put those lines in with my O1. So here we go. O1. Turning my paper. You know, there are no mistakes in Zentangle. I'm trying to keep it even, but every once in a while, if I wanted this to be perfect, I would be, you know, have perfect lines, then I would be creating it digitally. And then it would be quite mechanical, in my opinion, and lose its human element. So that's why plus we need time to spend in our creativity with using our hands and some of the classic forms of creating. Now, don't get me wrong, I think digital is great, but I like creating my artwork when I want to touch my muse. I like creating it with my hand in the old-fashioned way. And I get a lot of what we call Zen flow. In other words, I get a lot of moments where I'm feeling like my mind is calming, and the time is you know, it seems kind of timeless. What I've done here, because we don't have enough room, I've drawn behind. And that's a method that I teach in the beginner's class. And we call it Haliba in Zentangle. And yeah, maybe you wonder why. And I have included in that beginner's booklet with the materials list that you download is a Zentology. We have our own language. Each design is called a tangle, and we have our own way of naming, so that we can refer to and talk about the process. So that's where we're at. Now I'm going to head to the next step, which I'm going to do the centers in the opposite direction. This is where the magic starts to happen, I think, that in this tangle. We're getting there. Now, in the opposite direction. getting smaller, almost like a Ukrainian, those little Ukrainian dolls that keep getting smaller and smaller. And then the final step is in the opposite direction again. Okay, so now we have my design on here. What I would like to show you, I'm going to get started and then I'm going to finish overnight because I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm going to do some striping here. So on the first, I'm just going to do, I want to come in tight so you can see. I just want to do some orbs next to each other. Then on the next layer, I want to do a just kind of some lines. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a striping here, and I want to give it a little bit of a shadow. So when I do shadows, I come in and I create some right here. Well, it's not really a shadow, I'm sorry, it's a highlight. Shadow is something else. Zentangle has a way of shading that is not like your artist highlight, you know, the way light naturally falls on an object. We have ways to do it to give it texture and what have you. So I'm just going to do this one, and then I'm going to let you go and fill in yours. But here we go. The way, and fill it in the way you see it. You don't need to do it my way. I'm sure you can come up with some other ways. And I do suggest that you go and take a look at some of the other artists that have that are doing the challenge and see their ideas. And one of the places to go is over to my mentor, Barbara Langston, Not Perfect Zen. And I will give you her link in the details below, because she's just a really creative. I love her work. And if you're like delicate and organic kinds of patterns, she's a master at that. So that is going to start to be what I draw on my mandala. So it's starting to come together, and that's day 3. So I hope that you have enjoyed drawing with me on day 3, and that you will want to come back tomorrow when we do day 4, Souk, by Steph Haber. I'm sorry, Steph, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Please excuse me if I am not. But day 4, we're going to do pattern souk, and it's a beautiful pattern that she got the idea from her trip to Morocco. And don't forget to get the beginner's guide and the daily email prompts. I have the link in the description below, and we are going to have a bonus live Zoom call with all those that are involved in the challenge that want to join us at the beginning of November to show the work that we did in October during Inktober Tangles 2022. So see you on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay connected to this channel. I'd appreciate it. And ring the bell to get notifications when I put up a new video. And that's it for today, day 3, ISEA-U Dory Peeters CZT, Certified Zen Tangle Teacher. Thank you so much for this amazing pattern, and we will be back again tomorrow.